Thank you for joining the Asheville Rise Stronger Together podcast. This is your host, Jessica Knupp with the Asheville Area Chamber of Commerce. I hope you enjoy today's episode. This episode is brought to you by our sponsor, True Point Bank. All right, today we are here with Rusty Edwards from First Bank. Rusty, thank you so much for joining us today. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about what you do with First Bank and kind of what you guys have going on right now.
Okay, so I'm the regional executive for Western North Carolina and the upstate. We have 22 branches in our network across both of the markets. We do have a lot going on. We just opened a new branch in downtown Asheville. We have we're a full service bank, and we are a retail bank for our consumers. We have commercial banking as well as mortgage and investment products. So we are a full service bank across both Western North Carolina and the upstate.
Oh, that's great. So, we're here to kind of talk about what we went through with the hurricane. We're through a year now. Sometimes when you look around, it doesn't quite look, like it did, right. Or, maybe there have been some great improvements. Can you kind of talk about what you guys did as the bank and, kind of what that looked like from a community standpoint?
So I'll tell you, I got my first phone call that morning. I happened to be visiting my son outside of Jackson, Mississippi. My first phone call came at 5 a.m. Central Standard Time. It was from my son. It was telling me, we live in East Asheville. He said, Dad, I don't know if your house is going to survive. And soon after, within the next minute, I was getting a phone call from one of our employees saying, our house is being destroyed. My husband's trapped in the basement. Can we figure out a way to call people to come and help us? So that was the way that day one started. And I will tell you, I live in East Asheville. East Asheville was really had a difficult challenge through the hurricane. We've seen some improvement. We need to have more improvement,
right.
Especially along the Swananoa River Road. But as a bank, we really focused on our employees first. So we were very fortunate. By Sunday evening, we knew that all of our employees were safe.
Wonderful.
Which was the number one thing. By Tuesday, we opened our first branch. So we were very proud of that. We know that, the community needed cash, right? Because we all love to have mobile devices and electronic payments, etc., but none of that was working because we had no communication. And so we opened our first branch by that Friday. We had opened over half of our branches. So we took care of our employees. We took care of our customers. We focused on our community. We had great partners that supported our employees. A week after the hurricane, we had a large tractor trailer that arrived from Wilmington, North Carolina that had over 2,000 gallons of water in it.
That's great.
And every supply you could imagine. I mean, we had in our operations center, we had a mini Walmart set up for our employees and their families, right? So that you could come in and you could grab whatever you needed, from dog food to wipes to batteries to generators, anything you could imagine. So we had great support from across our footprint to try to get us through this, and which was nice. And I think that part of our focus on the community was opening as soon as we could open, so that we could provide service. We had employees taking customers' cash because they couldn't get out of their house. They would walk out and they would get cash from us.
That's wonderful.
And so, and then by, a week later, everything started to work again. So gas wasn't as big an issue, right. Cash wasn't a big issue, but that first 7 to 10 days was pretty tough.
Right.
And then things started to turn positive, even though we didn't have electricity or water for a long time.
Right.
But I feel like that was a big contribution. We opened as soon as we could so that people would have access to their money.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm sure, the different locations that you have, like as you said, they were kind of popping up as they could
Yes.
in the community because
Mhm.
people, I mean, it's a community. People are used to going to see their familiar faces,
right.
and that was giving them a sense of normalcy, if you will.
Correct. And I think we
Yeah.
all needed that. We all
Yeah.
needed some normalcy. Our first branches are open. We're out in the far west, like Franklin, Highlands, and Silva. One of our last branches to open was downtown, so we had no water.
Right.
Right.
True.
So we're on city services, so we didn't have access to water. And the interesting thing for us, it was the most difficult place to bring back internet and Wi-Fi was our downtown location. So we took branches that weren't open, we took employees and put them in other branches so that we'd have enough staff to support all the people that were coming in. But over the 2-week period outside of East Asheville, close to the mall area, which was really challenged, we had opened 15 of our 16 branches.
Oh.
So that was really important. Customers told us how much they appreciated. They were. Sometimes they just wanted to come in and talk, right? As we all learned, just being able to have a conversation with someone was really important during that time.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, because most people go on a regular, like weekly basis to their bank, so they have those relationships. Like you feel like you know them personally,
and it's important. And my grandfather used to tell me. He would take me to the bank on Fridays with him, and we would go to the teller line, and he would say, "This is my banker," and little did I know that was really not his banker, right? But he had that kind of relationship with employees at the bank, and I think that still happens today. People want those relationships. They want to see they want to know who they're talking to. They feel comfortable with that, and during that time, I think that was really important for us.
Did you guys do any type of like when you could, like were you guys out in the community like doing anything?
We did. We had multiple opportunities to be out supporting the community during this, especially in the Swannanoa and Black Mountain markets. We spent a lot of time and effort in those markets supporting those communities as best we could, and then literally the Friday, the 1-year anniversary in Black Mountain, we held a community event day, and we served the community and said thank you, and it was a great time for everybody to come and talk and say, okay, this is how I've done over the past year. We had over 500 people that came that day to our facility in Black Mountain.
That gives me chills. That's wonderful.
It was. So it was a great day, and it was all led by our teams, and it was nothing out of the ordinary, but it was really special for everyone.
Yeah. I know, because sometimes it's hard to like think back, because you're like in the moment, we were all just like, oh gosh, we've got to do this or that, or
Survival.
because you have a staff of like, how many people do you
So we have over 125 people in Western North Carolina.
So you're checking on them, plus you have your clients
and we for our staff, we had partners that were able to provide housing for people that didn't have housing. We had access to, like I said, generators. We have people that still talk about the fact that we provided a generator, and that's how they lived for 58 days.
Right.
They use that, and so I think that across Western North Carolina, but particularly possibly Buncombe and Henderson counties, everybody has a story.
Oh yeah.
Right? And some stories are great, some are very difficult to hear. We had an employee the employee I was telling you, her husband got trapped in their basement. They finally got into their home last Thursday.
Oh, wonderful.
And so, it was a great accomplishment for them. For our bank, it was a great accomplishment because we supported them throughout that process. But for the community to see people to be able to get back in their homes is a really big deal.
Yeah.
And I was at a meeting last night at UNCA, and someone there was talking about the fact that she quickly turned to having her house repaired, and she realized she got after spending a lot of money and time and effort, she realized my foundation's destroyed.
Oh,
and I can't move back into my home. And so she's in an apartment now. So we still have lots of those stories that housing continues to be a challenge for lots of people. And through our mortgage company and through our employees, we support that as best we can, you know. And there will be places we never have housing again across Buncombe County. But I think that's really important that we're able to find housing for as many people as we can.
Absolutely. So obviously we weren't exactly prepared for this. I mean, maybe you were a little.
No,
No.
I was in Mississippi.
Yeah, you were.
I was not prepared for that.
Right. So is there anything out of this situation that you guys have adapted, like as a bank, like any type of, I don't know, like not protocol, but like, is there any steps that you guys have been able to implement? I mean, we've all been through COVID now we've been through a hurricane. So is there anything that you guys have adapted at all?
I think one of the biggest things we learned was access to communication.
Right.
You know, so we have satellite available now for communication. In places it works great, and other places it still doesn't work real good. But I think that was the one thing that we understood very quickly was it was very challenging to communicate, and to be able to have all of our employees accounted for by Sunday evening and everyone say, okay, it's not great where I am, but we're all safe and we're all okay for now. I think that was our biggest learning through the whole process is we got to be able to communicate with people.
Right.
We can't send smoke signals up, you know, so we need something to help us with that. And so satellite communication was really important to us. I think that it also is important that we were able to understand what we did really well and where we might have been challenged. And some things were out of our control, like, you know, you couldn't get into Western North Carolina for 72 hours, right? So that was a challenge. And understanding, okay, what do we do in those instances if something like this were to happen again? I think it is something that we learned from. You know, the Fed said we can't deliver money to you because it's not safe to come to Western North Carolina. So, you know, the news media helped create some challenges as well. What sparse news media there was. And so dealing with reality versus perception was a big learning for us and how we communicate with our employees during those times as well.
Yeah.
And really communicating during the employees the first 10 days was whoever could get a hold of whoever, right? And we had a list of employees that we checked every day as someone contacted this person. And every day we checked that list off and to say, okay, is there anything we can do for you?
Yeah.
And that was important, right? And we may not have been able to meet every need. I mean, everybody says, oh yeah, we're able to meet every need. We may not have been able to meet every need, but we took the time to try to find out what needs that we could meet for people, and we reacted very quickly.
Right. Well, and that goes a long way. You know, people remember that, and as an employer, an employee, like those are the type of relationships that, you know, really foster those long-term, you know, relationships. And so I think that's really cool. I know we had a text thread going on our team, and it was like one person was like, a tree just hit my house, and then I was trying to respond back, and then there was like nothing, and you're like, I have no idea what's happening with her, you know, because I mean this is like a family, you know. So were there any, I don't know how this would work, but like any of the resources through like grant, anything going on in the community that you guys were able to participate in? Is that something that you guys looked into, like as far as?
So we did support various community grants and programs that went on, especially around small business. Yeah, I think there was a lot of access to money for small businesses in smaller amounts. I would say that one of the things they probably would say is $25,000 is great, but we need $250,000, right? And I think, you know, that has taken longer than possibly we would want. But I think organizations that we supported illustrate, you know, our commitment to the community. We support over 100 not-for-profits across Western North Carolina on an annual basis. And it may be a $200 donation or more, right? And And so finding ways to support the community during that time was really important, I think. And we did a lot of things to support our customers around extensions for their payments. I mean, none of us knew what was going to go on, right? So the good thing was we'd had COVID, so we learned a little bit from COVID.
We did.
Right?
We learned a little
So
bit.
we practiced a little bit,
Uh-huh.
right? And this was just different because it was so local versus
Right.
national.
Yeah, and then, people coming in, like you said, people couldn't get here to
Right.
so we kind of just had to figure it out ourselves, what was going on.
Mhm.
Well, that's great. Is there any other stories that you would like to share with us about what you guys did?
Well, I think the most impactful thing was when we rolled that transfer truck in to our ops center, and we literally set up a Walmart in our ops center, and when people were told that day, just take what you need. Nobody's going to check a box and say you got too many toothbrushes, right? Just take what you need. And it's always encouraging to see that people took what they needed. They didn't just take everything they wanted, right? And they knew that access was going to be there, and we kept replenishing that over time. And so I think for me the biggest thing was it showed the commitment to our team, and our team showed the commitment to us, right? Because they didn't feel like getting up and going to work when they hadn't had a shower in 7 days, right? And they had to use cleaning wipes to cleanse themselves with, right? So I think that we both learned that we give and take what we can together, and we listen really well what your needs are, and we do our best to try to take care of those needs.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
The transfer truck, I'm telling you, there were things in that I was like, people are not going to use that. And it's interesting, the things that people would say, oh, I could really use that, right? So buckets, right, for water. Like none of us realized we were going to be getting water out of water buffaloes for how long, right? And so these buckets from Lowe's and Home Depot mattered a whole lot, right?
They were like, let me get that.
Yeah,
first.
they were. So, and right out of the gate, that was the first thing that sort of went. And so they said, what else do you need? And I said, we need buckets. We need buckets with lids so people can be able to transport water.
Because you were going to the trucks to get the water.
Dog food and cat food. People needed dog food.
And diapers.
Oh, we had a whole section for infants, right? Formula, diapers, wipes, clothing.
Yeah.
We had clothing. I mean, the thing that this customer of ours sent us in this transfer truck, I mean, people were crying that day like, holy cow, I can't believe the bank is doing this for us.
That's just wonderful.
And we had customers that we said, do you need stuff? And we would go and collect that stuff and take it to our customers.
I love that you were listening and then taking it to them. That is above and beyond, for your customers, and that will go a long way. I mean, people just didn't. With diapers or for your children, yes, you have some on standby, but not for something like that. Well, it has just been wonderful to hear all these stories, and we at the Chamber appreciate First Bank and you so much for all that you guys do with the Chamber. And you guys are always at our events, and just a huge presence within our organization. So we really appreciate that as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We appreciate the opportunity to participate.
Yeah, well, it's a great community that we live in, for sure, and we've always been that relationship type of kind of community, but I think ever since the hurricane, we're even more. We just really had to come together, and so we really appreciate what you guys do in our community and for the Chamber as well.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So tell everybody, actually, really quick before we go, how they can get in touch with you guys, kind of website, social media, all that.
So we have 16 branches across Western North Carolina. You can walk into any one of our branches. Our website is at localfirstbank.com.
Okay.
We have access through both of those channels. You can pick up the phone and call us. We have live people that are right here in our market that you can talk to. And so any of those areas are ways that you can get in touch with us. But
Well, thank you so much, Rusty.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed today's episode, like, comment, and subscribe. To learn more about joining the Asheville Chamber, scan the QR code on your screen or visit ashevillechamber.org. Until next time.